main event's cool. It'll be my first main event. Oh yeah, that's a nice looking belt. I want to add it to my collection for sure. But no, it'll be fun, man. Get my hands on that belt will be awesome, and it'll be a war, I'm sure. I know he's a tough dude. It'll be a good scrap, and I'm sure the fans will love it. The atmosphere will be awesome if it's Kelowna versus Vernon. Go back to the hockey rivalry days. I won't feel like I'm the out of town guy by any means. I'll have lots of friends and family there too, but no, we'll put on a good show. I think we'll sell a lot of tickets. Yeah, I was definitely a bit of a party animal in high school and university, but I've actually never really been in a street fight like that before, especially not like a dumb one. My opponent actually got online and talked a lot of crap about me. I just kind of thought he was a loser. Venting online and taking a couple shots at me, but that's also part of the game. I declined to answer that one. Hi, I'm Curtis Anderson, fighting out of Dynamic MMA. I'll be fighting for the bantamweight title on OFC 2, June 14th in Vernon. I'll be fighting the Vernon hometown boy, Jesse Opper, hometown Kelowna boy. It's going to be a great show for the fans. Make sure you come out, get your tickets. If you can't watch live, you can always tune in and watch it on Valiente.
Welcome, Curtis Anderson, to the podcast, Valiente Podcast. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us on this podcast.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
We're very happy to have you. It's a very casual podcast, and we're just going to talk about you, about your next coming fights. How you been?
I've been good. Been busy. Just been trying to catch up on work since my last fight, but been doing well. Keeping busy, training lots.
That's awesome. Yeah. What a great feeling to be back home here in Kelowna with your belt, right?
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been a hit with the family the last couple of days. It's cool to see how excited everyone got, and obviously it's cool having one for myself now, and looking to add more to the collection soon here, hopefully.
That's great, man. That we were so happy to see you at the Havoc. It was in Red Deer, right? Red Deer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Red Deer, Alberta, just outside of Calgary. So that was back in November, or end of November. Was an awesome show, man. It was great to get my hand raised, obviously, and get some hardware, but on to the next now. So looking forward to it.
That's awesome. We'll go a little bit deeper into that fight, but first, I want to take this opportunity to get to know you a little bit more. I know that we don't know each other, which is great. Feel free to ask any questions as well, just a casual conversation. But I would like to start knowing, where do you grow up? I know that you are from Kelowna. Tell us a little bit about that. How was your childhood? Yeah, anything about that will be nice to hear.
Yeah, 100%. So I was born and raised in Kelowna. I lived here until I was 18, and that's when I moved out to Calgary. But growing up, I was actually a hockey player. I was a goalie. So I was playing hockey until I was like 14, I think. 14 or 15 maybe. And I was actually a goalie that led my team in penalty minutes because I was fighting all the time and throwing punches in the net.
So since a kid you were into fights.
Yeah, so it was definitely time to try out a combat sport. And my older brother, Brady, actually, he's really the one that got me into fighting in the first place. He grew up kickboxing. It doesn't exist anymore, the gym he was at, but he grew up kickboxing, doing a little bit of MMA stuff, and he kind of got my feet wet in the sport and taught me how to defend myself in hockey. And he's honestly kind of the reason I got into it in the first place. And then I did some amateur boxing in BC with Thistletown Boxing Club with Graham McIntosh, and had a couple of fights there. And that's whenever I stopped training. I moved out to Calgary for university, and honestly, I kind of just lived the student lifestyle and wasn't really into training at the time. And but honestly, once COVID rolled around, it was just kind of a wake-up call that I really wanted to get back into living the athlete lifestyle and get back at her. And I always wanted to try out MMA and kind of learn the other disciplines. So that's kind of where it all started.
Nice. And tell me, when you were a kid and when you were playing hockey, how was your personality? Were you more into the side of outgoing or more into the introvert? How are you as a kid?
A little bit of both. I mean, there's kind of like a stereotype in hockey that like goalies are always a little bit weird and always kind of like to keep themselves a little bit. And I was definitely like outgoing with my team and had lots of friends, and I was always fortunate enough that I made friends pretty easily. But I also kind of liked my alone time. I was a little bit more introverted as well. But growing up playing hockey, I got to make a lot of friends, and I was always outgoing on the ice. I was always a loud one on the ice, and I was always a little bit mouthy to the other teams. But it was a little mix of both. But I was pretty outgoing, I would say, and it was good.
Same thing at school, or how your classes and.
Yeah, no, same thing at school. Like I was never like not often the center of attention, but I was outgoing. I had a good group of friends and good circle, and I certainly wasn't quiet by any means, and I wasn't necessarily the teacher's favorite as far as attention span goes. But yeah, no, it was always pretty outgoing, pretty.
Yeah, I imagine, and I ask you because I'm from Mexico. I moved 5 years ago here to Kelowna, and it's not very common, or I haven't met other fighters that I know their friends. And from you, I have two friends in common that know you. So that made me feel like, oh, you were more you probably were very friendly and popular back then. I know I was just telling you about Christian from Nice.
Yeah.
And I think Brody Punch. Do you know him?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while, but yeah, bring up. Yeah, that's funny as well. Yeah, both great guys. I still talk to Christian every once in a while, just kind of an Instagram DM here and there, and he always pops in to say hi and let me know how, or like cheer me on for my fights or wish me good luck or anything like that. But it's funny you guys know each other that way. I honestly forgot about that because I remember you and I talking about that back in July.
Yeah.
And I honestly forgot about that until now. But yeah, I would like I had I never really had any issues with anyone growing up. Like I thought my camaraderie spread pretty far with people. So yeah, I mean, Kelowna's a fairly small town still.
Yeah.
We probably have a lot more in common than we even know. But yeah, it's funny that we've got a couple of
Yeah,
mutual
yeah.
friends. Yeah.
And last year, I've been knowing a lot of athletes, MMA athletes, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. But yeah, you are the only one who I have friends in common, I think.
Yeah.
So far, which is great. And what was your favorite class, or what were classes did you enjoy as a kid?
Anything but math. I was not a math guy. I liked biology. Thought biology was cool, and honestly, that's something that like I took business in university. But if I could go back and do it again, I probably would have done more like kinesiology. I always just thought like studying the human body and stuff like that was cool. So I'd probably say biology was one of my favorites. Or like gym class. Like I like dodgeball was always fun. But
Yeah.
if we're going to academics, I'd say like biology.
Fitness
I always think psychology
classes,
was kind of cool too. Never really got into that too much in like elementary, middle, or high school, but a couple like psychology classes, even just reading psychology books, I think is really cool. So yeah, probably those two.
No, that's awesome. And what were your dreams when you were a kid?
I mean, I've always wanted to be a pro athlete. Like I've always wanted to
be in the sports?
Yeah, like when I first started playing hockey, like I wanted to be in the NHL. But I always knew that no matter what sport I did, I wanted to make a career for myself through sports. It's my favorite thing to do. It's still my favorite thing to do is wake up and go to practice or wake up and go to training or go hit the weight room or whatever. It's always been my favorite thing to do. So, obviously my dream kind of shifted when I started boxing as pro boxing. When I went to MMA, I want to be in the UFC. I want to be champ. But the underlying goal is I want to make my money doing what I love, and that's playing sports and competing in sports.
That's awesome, and that's great to hear, and it feels awesome seeing you how good you are doing in MMA,
I appreciate that.
Your sport. And tell me how life were when you were getting more into teenager, and like were you like a party boy or
yeah? Yeah, I was never. Well, no, that's not true. There's a couple instances where it maybe got a little bit out of hand, but I always had a good head on my shoulders. I just like to go out and party with my friends, and started kind of partying at a pretty young age, as a lot of people do in Kelowna, and then obviously going through university and stuff like that, partied pretty hard. But I think it actually worked out pretty well because it's not really my lifestyle anymore. I've kind of just grown out of that, and
Yeah, I guess we all go through a period where we like to party. We're just exploring life.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
You know, probably made some stupid mistakes and, you know, drank a little too much here and there, but I wouldn't change it for anything. Like, I don't regret doing it by any means. But it's just not really the lifestyle I live anymore. But I made a lot of good friends and had a lot of good memories through then. So, yeah, I was definitely a bit of a party animal in high school and university, but I think it's part of kind of who I am today. And it's, you know,
Did you
I don't
got
think there's anything wrong
into
with it.
a fight in those parties anytime or not? No, never
No,
like that.
never anything major. You know, growing up, being someone that trains martial arts, you're always going to have someone kind of challenging you a little bit. But I never really I've actually never really been in like a street fight like that before, especially not like a dumb one at like a high school party kind of thing. Like I said, I've always had a pretty good head on my shoulders that way for diffusing the situation. Also, again, like growing up through like middle school and high school, my brother also trained, and is a darn good fighter himself. And I think that also just kind of older kids also knew, you know, that my brother would be there too. So it was good. I always had a.
Is he
big brother.
older than you?
Yeah, he's 3 years old or 2 years older, but I'm early birthday and he's late birthday, so he's technically like 3 years ahead of me. But yeah, I had a big brother growing up watching over my back too, so I always had a second layer of security there. So no, never anything like that, other than just the odd person kind of challenging you the odd time, and maybe a boxing match here and there with gloves on, but never anything like that.
And it's just you and your brother, or do you have other siblings?
No, it's just my older brother and I, and he was in my corner for the last fight as well, and hopefully he'll be in my corner again for May.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your family. How do they do here in Kelowna? And yeah, just so we know a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad's retired now, but he was a tradesman his whole life. He worked overhead doors and he was a technician like that. My mom was a nurse in the hospital, and now she works more in like the private sector. She's still working full time. They're both still just living over in West Kelowna in Rose Valley. They're some of my best friends in the world. Like, we still talk pretty well every day, even when I'm back in Calgary. And they like to come out, and they never miss a fight, whether it's on pay-per-view or whether it's in person. But they never miss a fight. They never will. And yeah, they come out to visit as much as they can. I get back as often as I can, and you know, obviously life gets in the way, and things are expensive now to travel back and forth. But we stay in touch every day, and it's awesome. They're my biggest supporters. So
it's very important to have all the support and your family in your back. That motivates you to keep going, to keep farther.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, like obviously, the support they've given me allows me to do what I do, and you know, they're always someone I can call if I need to chat anything through, or they're always the first person to get filled in on if I have a fight coming up, or you know, whatever. And it's like, I just leave the researching of my opponents to my dad, because as soon as I say a name, he's not the greatest on computers, but he can find my opponent's records and he can find my opponent's fights very quickly. Somehow he manages to do it. So yeah, they're awesome like that. They're super supportive.
That's awesome. And have they always been very supportive? You going from hockey to boxing?
Oh yeah, it's like obviously my mom being a nurse, grew up. She nursed in like intensive care a lot, and growing up, she said she'll support me in anything I want to do except for boxing. And so naturally, my brother and I did boxing and kickboxing. And she was always less nervous for that than she was for hockey. She's always 100% supportive, and she does just fine watching the fights. She knows how hard I prepare, and she knows that it's part of the sport for me to take a beating every now and then, and she's all good with it. And she's tough herself, so she's all good.
She gives you tips and tricks on how to recover. Faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, 100%. Yeah, and like, yeah, anything medical, and just call mama and she'll help me out.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And why you start into getting into boxing? When did that started?
Yeah, it was actually it was a mix of a couple things. Like hockey was kind of fizzling out for me, and like I said, I was a goalie that led my team in penalty minutes because I always liked to scrap, and thought it was a good time to make the switch. But I was always interested in it, just from growing up watching my brother do it, and him always teaching me and beating me up in the living room and stuff like that.
Is he still competing?
He doesn't compete. He does some jiu-jitsu tournaments,
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
and he trains. He's pretty consistently still as well, but he doesn't compete MMA. He did compete boxing. He was a provincial champion boxing, and but right now he's got other things going on, and training's he's more of a hobbyist. But I'd like to see him get in there one day, and I don't think someone would really want to stand across from him. But yeah, it's just not necessarily high on his list of priorities right now. But I'd like to see it one time.
Yeah. And from boxing, you went straight to MMA, or you went through other disciplines before?
No, I boxed and then took some time off for university, so like 4 years. My gym had closed down as well, and so it was just kind of like a natural exit from boxing. And I actually kind of put competing and training on the back burner, just focused on school. And I was always...
What did you study?
Business and marketing.
Business and marketing.
Yeah.
Where did you study? Here in Kelowna or
University of Calgary?
Calgary.
Yeah.
That's why
That's why I moved out there. So I moved out there when I was 18, and then I was always back for the first couple summers, just working like construction jobs in between the school year, and then I ended up staying out there, and I've been out there ever since. So it's been 8 or 9 years. Like I said, math's not my years.
Time
8 or
goes
9
flies.
years, something like that. That I've been out in Calgary now. So
Time flies.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. It was kind of shocking. But
Which high school did you go?
I went to Mount Boucherie on the west side. So it's the only one in West Kelowna, but lots of good times there. But I had a lot of friends even through hockey, so I kind of got to hang out with people from a couple different high schools in Kelowna. And like I said, it's kind of a small town. Like everyone kind of knows everyone. So once the whole student lifestyle and party lifestyle kind of fizzled off, and I got back into it just because honestly, like I had kind of lost like my athletic ability. I'd put on a lot of weight I didn't want to have. I was realizing I was kind of a bit of a party animal, and it was just like it's time to get back to kind of like I'm the best version of myself whenever I am training and competing and things like that. And so I went back. I checked out. I had aspirations to check out a bunch of other gyms, and there's a lot of fantastic gyms in Calgary, and I would have had a great start at any of them, but whenever I walked into Dynamic, it was the first one I checked out.
Nice.
I met Coach Vince and met some of the guys there, and I didn't even bother checking out any other gym. I signed up on the spot. Just had a really good like instant connection with Vince there, and I haven't regretted it once ever since, and never will.
Were you martial arts fans already, or you were more into the sports and more into you being the athlete?
No, I watched a lot. I was definitely more of like a casual MMA fan. Like I always watched the big ones. I watched a lot of boxing, but I wouldn't say I was like a crazy enthusiast of it by any means. Like I always watched the big ones. But now I like never miss a fight card.
Yeah.
So I certainly wasn't on that level, but no, I always loved the sport, and it's I've always just loved just fighting in general. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me, and I paid a lot of attention to it. But it's really only that or hockey that I'll watch. I actually don't watch a lot of sports besides that.
Nice. And so, how long you've been training at Dynamic MMA?
Yeah, I've been. So I think it's roughly about 4.5 years. I was out for a little bit, or a significant portion of time. So I've really only been training for like maybe coming up on 3 years, 3.5 years maybe. But I think I've been there for about 5 years.
Nice.
But I was sidelined for 1.5 years with an injury. So that was, but I was still there every day. Coach Vince was.
What's your injury?
It was a knee injury.
Knee injury.
Yeah, and but Coach Vince was amazing at supporting me through it all, and opened up his gym for me to just do all my physio there.
Nice.
I was coaching there during it, so I could keep my head in the game, and I would still go to every practice and watch all the grappling practices. So you actually soak up a lot of knowledge that way. So I actually didn't really feel like I was too far behind the 8 ball whenever I got back.
How did that happen? Was it during training, fighting?
It was a week before my debut fight.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was just a freak accident that happens with the sport. Like it wasn't anything, wasn't
Crazy.
like a malicious move or anything like that. It was just a freak accident and took some time to heal up. But
which year was it? Was this
early 2022?
2022.
I think, or no, maybe 2021.
Yeah.
I think 2020.
And how did you handle that injury? Because I've been injured myself, and it's always tough.
It was.
I tried to push myself to don't lose motivation.
Yeah.
But there are some days that it's harder to just go and train. How was it for you?
It was really hard. Obviously not really being able to go train and kind of almost lose like a part of your identity when your whole life revolves around something. But I had really great teammates that kept me accountable, and like I said, I was still there every practice, which helped me at least get back or keep my routine. It would still I would still need to make sure I was there by this time. Like I was never late.
That's always helpful. Yeah.
I don't think I was ever late. Maybe I was pushing a couple of times, but I was like I pride myself on holding myself accountable even through that. And I just treated treated my rehab like it was training for me.
Yeah.
Never missed a day. I think probably in the 16 months of physiotherapy, I could probably count on one hand the amount of days I missed or amount of sessions I missed, and for those 16 months it was a couple times every day I had to do. So for only missing 4 or 5 in total, I think it was pretty good. Like I remember sometimes we'd have guys fighting down in Lethbridge, which is about a 2-hour drive away. And I would go down and I would corner some of the guys in Lethbridge, and then I would drive back and I would get back at like 2, 3 in the morning, and then I'd go do my physio before I went to bed kind of thing. So it was definitely tough, but I kept myself motivated and kept myself accountable. And a lot of that came from my teammates as well. Coach Vince always made sure I was doing it. Matt Crayco, actually, he's a fighter out of Dynamic, but he's team captain, our MMA coach, 20 professional fights. Like he's been around the block, and he actually had like alarms set on his phone every day to text me to make sure I was doing my physio.
That's awesome.
So he was really helpful with that as well. So.
Oh, that's great. It sounds, or I can see that you have a very good mindset and discipline, and keep a routine, and being surrounded with people that encourage you to heal and rehab and to heal and recover faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. It was it was a team effort for sure. Like I am proud of how dedicated I am and how disciplined I am, but it also gets a lot easier when you have such good teammates and such good coaches, and also I was really fortunate with the physio team I had. So I was in good hands, and
That's great.
I would be foolish to not take advantage of that. So.
And did you say that it was just 1 week before a fight?
Yeah, I think it was like 8 days before.
Oh my God! And which league was this?
It was actually for a Muay Thai fight. It was not Muay Thai World Cup. Mike Miles was having a fight there, and it would have been my debut fight with Dynamic. And it was a week before that.
And how did they respond? Because I know that it's tough, as you were mentioning, to lose fighters, and sometimes I don't know, like all the stress, people can turn it not very friendly when those things happen. But I mean, like it was an accident. How was that response from them?
My opponent actually got online and talked a lot of crap about me. He thought I was faking it. Thought I was running away from him, but everyone else was fine. The promoter.
How did that make you feel? That back then?
I just kind of thought he was a loser. But you know what I mean. You know what? I also get it. He was frustrated. He just lost his fight 8 days out too, or 7 days out, and I've been there numerous times. So, like I understand the frustration, but I was kind of like, come on, man. But other than that, I mean, he didn't cross any lines. He wasn't disrespectful about it. He just
He was
thought
just
I was faking
venting.
it and venting online and taking a couple shots at me. But, that's also part of the game, and it is what it is. But the promoter was awesome about it. Obviously he wasn't thrilled by any means, but Mike Miles is an absolute legend in Canadian Muay Thai, and he knows the sport we're in. He knows it happens, and yeah, he was nothing but supportive. Obviously, he probably wasn't thrilled to lose a fight and felt bad for my opponent too, but that's the game we're in. It happens.
For sure.
Hopefully never again, but it happens.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Never again, bro.
Yeah.
Nice. And after that, how long time was after you were able to go back and train for your next fight or another fight?
It was 16 months.
16 months, yeah.
Yeah, and then 16 months, but I part of the rehabilitation for it was I came in pretty good shape already. I was able to do a lot of things that kind of prepared me to get back onto the mats a little bit quicker. And then it was just kind of like sharpening up and getting back in shape. But like I said, I was pretty dedicated, making sure I didn't blow up too much in between that time or get too out of shape with whatever I could do. I mean, luckily for me, part of it was like I had to bike for an hour every day. So like I was already in pretty good shape coming back. And I think all in all, it was probably about 18 months for me to like fight again. So I think I only I'm pretty sure as soon as I came back, we started looking for fights. So
nice.
Yeah, it was good. And that was my debut MMA fight. Yeah.
When was it and where? Which
that would have been
championship?
That would have been October 2023. That was in Lethbridge, Rumble in the Cage, Lee Means promotion. That was October of 2023.
And how did that one go? Was it your injury in your mind a lot, or do you feel strong and like determined?
Yeah. No, honestly, I knew that I was like stronger and healthier than I'd ever been before. Like realistically, the injury was a blessing in disguise. I came back more athletic, stronger. My legs were, I mean, I don't have big legs, but they were stronger, healthier than they ever were. And it was good, and the fight went well. I won by second round TKO, and then I just kind of took off from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a funny thing that injuries can do. I will say that I'm same as you, that every time that I suffer an injury, I try my best to shift the coin and go harder, push my limits even more, move and train the parts of my body that I can train.
Yeah.
So when I fully recover, I come back even stronger. So
yeah,
it sounds like it was the case for you.
It was, absolutely. There's always something you can always, 99% of the time, you can always train around it. Somehow you can do something. And it was also just a wake up call that, I just needed to take better care of my body. Like obviously the training and the diet and all that stuff was there, but taking the extra time for recovery and learning how to kind of the mobility and the flexibility and things like that was just something I completely would neglect before that. So it was a learning lesson, and learned a lot about how to just treat my body better. And like I said, I came back stronger than ever, and it's never been an issue since. And I'm very confident that it's the strongest I've ever been. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And when was another fight after that one?
What
was your next fight?
In April of 2024 was my next one after that.
Which championship?
That would have also been Rumble in the Cage. So
Rumble in the Cage.
The beginning of 2024 was not, actually this year in general wasn't a great year as far as getting fights. I signed 10 contracts this year, and I fought 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And I never pulled out of a fight, not for any of these. Mm-hmm. And one of those was I took on 3 days notice as well. So yeah, it was tough. And like I said, I get it. People get injured, people get sick. Mm-hmm. People have personal matters that come up. I'm not saying anyone was like signing the contracts willy-nilly and then just leaving. I just had unfortunate luck that my fights just kept falling apart. So I took my next one in April, and that was April. Took that one on 3 weeks' notice. I got a first round knockout, and that was good. That was actually at 145 as well, which was nice because I didn't really have to cut the weight, which was awesome. I'm definitely not a 145er, but I liked fighting at 145 on 3 days' notice and not having to do a really big weight cut, so that was nice. And then the next one after that was with you guys in OFC in July there.
That was amazing, an amazing show.
It was awesome show. It was good scrap. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that for the people that hasn't watched your fight. It is now on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was a great. But yeah, I wanna hear your saying how it went for you, your thoughts about the fight.
Yeah. No, it was honestly, to this date, it's probably still my favorite fight of mine. It didn't go my way, obviously. I got submitted in the third.
It was against Lucas Taylor.
Yeah, Lucas Taylor, that guy's a beast. And I knew going into it was a tough fight. Him and I had fought on we'd fought on the same card before, and
at the Rumble in the Cage.
Yeah, Rumble in the Cage, and
different.
I knew at some point we were gonna fight. I kind of immediately knew that we were gonna be a couple of the better guys around, and I knew at some point we were gonna fight. And I think our names had kind of floated around getting matched up at a couple other promotions before that, and it just never really lined up to work out. And honestly, it worked out well having it happen in Vernon. He's, I think, Kamloops guy. Yeah. I'm a Kelowna guy, so we both sold a lot of tickets. I thought we put on a good fight.
Oh yeah.
Obviously came up a little bit short, but it was a really good learning experience. I'd still like to eventually get that one back for sure. But no, it was wicked. It exploited some of my weaknesses, and it was kind of good because at that point, I don't want to come across cocky, but I'd kind of run through my competition so far. Lucas was making pretty quick work of his guys, so I just think it was good that we both challenged each other a little bit. I think I gave him a good run for his money. He's just a little bit too much for me that night, and it was good. It gave me a game plan on where I needed to go after that, and I think even stepping out of the cage with him and back onto the mats for my first practice the next week, I thought I was already a better fighter having gone through that. And even just the promotion itself, like the production value you guys were doing, like having us do interviews and having us do the videos beforehand and giving us a little bit more promotion is really valuable as amateur fighters especially. And guys that are trying to make a name for themselves in the sport, I think is really beneficial for us to be fighting on that card and having the production value behind it. And so that's a testament to you guys. It's also a testament to Raj at OFC. He put on a wicked show, and I think he did a good job bringing you guys on. And it gives us a little bit more of a platform too, which is super exciting and helpful as far as just even going about getting sponsors or getting our name out there. Because really, if you want to make it in the sport, which I believe everyone that is stepping into the cage does, it's really all about who you know and your support system. So having that platform is super, super helpful.
That's awesome. No, and thank you very much for those awesome words. And we are feeling super blessed to be that welcome from the martial arts scene. I'm a producer myself. I've been producing different type of shows for different industries. It is amazing how much talent is in Canada, in the Okanagan, and being able to came on board and fight to the same vision as the athletes, as the promoters, and make an industry together. Yeah. I feel like we are in a very good spot, in a very good time to collaborate. Social media is making it easier and necessary, as you're saying, like the athletes can get more sponsor, get more brand deals, and we can come on board and collaborate. And I feel like it is a good time. And being there, I feel like we are all been talking that being on camera is like having VR.
Yeah.
Like we feel the punches, we feel everything, we move to get that shot, and it is an amazing sport. We've been falling in love about it.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and like, you guys are doing a great job at it. And like I said, it's also just kind of exciting. It just makes you feel a little bit more professional. Makes you feel a little bit more important. Like getting the promotion behind you, and I think it goes hand in hand. Like I imagine when you're building these relationships too, like you said, when you're doing the filming and stuff, you get a little bit more invested too, which is fun. And I know you said you're a fan of the sport, and I imagine that's kind of the way for everything. Like I know you had mentioned you want to try to get into some like rock climbing events and things like that as well. And I just think in general with the social media the way it is now is there's a big market to be tapped, and the fact that you guys kind of jumped in right away and did such a good job with the first one, I think sky's the limit, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely. And everybody has their own story to show to the world. And that's amazing. Yeah, I remember clearly the commentators at OFC that were streaming at Valiente mentioning that the level of the fight that you guys put on, it was like UFC level.
So that was a pretty cool comment to hear.
Like all the crowd and all the people that have watched your fight completely agree.
I appreciate you saying that. I think for all the praises I'm giving him, I definitely think I'm right up there. I got some weaknesses to work on, as does everyone, and that was a good wake-up call for it. I appreciate that, and I think it's cool, and it's a good confidence builder to hear that. But that's just the state of even amateur and just pro MMA now. Especially amateur, honestly. I think there's a lot of guys in amateur that are more than ready to go pro. Even after 2-3 amateur fights, like the skill level is just really, really high, and I actually think the 135 division has a lot of those guys too. Like looking at all the names in 135, there's a lot of really, really talented guys. So I think future's bright for Canadian MMA, and excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like you're in a very good time to be a MMA fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. A growing sport too, growing market is always fun to be a part of too, and like a lot of people are more interested in supporting it as well. So I think the support a fighter would get now versus even 4 or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, definitely from like local businesses and things like that is definitely a lot bigger. So
they see the benefits of collaborating, supporting local athletes,
and social media again helps with that, right? And so I think it's exciting times.
How was the after OFC 1 in Vernon? I start training, or share with us how was finishing OFC 1 and start preparing for Havoc Fighting Championship.
I didn't want to take as much time off as I ended up taking, but there wasn't really too many other options before that. If I recall correctly, I was trying to get on a show in October. I can't even remember which one at this point. It was one of those ones where we just couldn't find an opponent, and it was okay. Like I wanted to get back on the horse. Obviously, taking my first loss, I was like rearing to get after it again and kind of right the ship. But it was good. I got to kind of take a deep dive and see where my weaknesses were and come up with a game plan with my team to fix them. And we started the next Monday. It was we have world-class jiu-jitsu coach and Corey Guittard from 10th Planet. We have Yura. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. It's a Ukrainian last name that I definitely will butcher. But we have Yura as our wrestling coach, and they're both world-class. And I just really deep dove into the grappling after that. I know my striking's there. I will stand with anyone in the division and feel pretty confident about that. But I really just deep dove into the training after that for the grappling, and I'm on the mats 4, 5, 6 times a week now, which is significantly more grappling than I was doing before. And don't get me wrong, it was never like I was avoiding the grappling. It's just I've rearranged some things where I can get more mat time, and it's made a world of difference. So I'm excited to show it off in the next one.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit more the fight in Havoc. How was it? Who were you fighting?
Yeah. So I fought Connor Krebs. He's actually a Red Deer guy. He was their 145-pound champ at one point. He just had recently fought for the 135-pound belt as well. And I had gone through 2 or 3 opponents before him for Havoc. I had an opponent. He wasn't able to make it for whatever reason. I had another opponent. He wasn't able to make it for whatever reason. So I almost didn't get to compete on that one either, which would have been definitely like a real bummer. And Connor ended up taking it on like 4 weeks notice. So kudos to him for doing that as well. And he's a tough guy, kicks like a mule. We had a good first round, really back and forth. I think we each had our moments. And then in the second round, I hurt him early and was able to find a finish in the second round with TKO and get the belt. So that was cool. And honestly, it was a good scrap though. Another really tough guy. He had like triple my experience, which was also I think a good challenge for me is fighting a guy that's been in there. Like I think it was I think that was his 9th or 10th fight. I could be wrong, but somewhere around there. So he had significantly more experience than I did as well, and he's been around for a while. So it was a good challenge for me, and and again, kudos to him for taking one on a little bit shorter notice as well, and I respect that. And he was a super good dude after about it, and honestly, I'm excited to see what he does next too.
That's awesome, and it's all like listening to your story. It's very exciting to see you how fast you're evolving. Fight after fight, and now you are here promoting your next fight, OFC 2. Alicia and Raj are super excited to have you back.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about fighting Jesse Oper?
I don't know much
well,
about him.
I'm giving you the premise.
There you go. Yeah. No, I think he's a guy from out east. That's exciting. I know he put on a good show last time. I know he got lots of cheers, and I think he put on a good fight, but I actually don't really know much about him. And I'll obviously have to look into it. But either way, I'm excited to fight someone. I know he's a tough guy. Obviously, they brought him back out for a reason. So, and all those guys out east are good. They have a lot of good gyms out there. They're pretty active. I'm looking forward to it, and that's exciting that I have a name now as well. So yeah, we are all very excited, and Raj and Alicia are really putting a lot of care and time to build a fight card, even better from OFC 1, just because OFC 1 exceed everybody's expectations. Big time.
So we're all looking to build like a more attractive card for OFC 2, and it sounds like it's gonna be Vernon versus Kelowna. So you will be representing Kelowna. Oh yeah, no, it's exciting as well. Like I thought last time the energy was good because it was Kelowna versus Kamloops, so Kelowna versus Vernon is also super exciting. Is Jesse's from Vernon? Yeah, Jesse is from Vernon. He's a local from Vernon. I don't think he's living there. But he's from Vernon, but he's living out east now. Yeah, he's living out. I did have the right guy. Yeah. No, that'll be fun then. He was born and raised in Vernon, and then moved. I was actually a little bit confused as to why they were having a Calgary and a out east guy, but that makes a lot more sense. No, that'll be fun too. It's always a fun atmosphere. It'll be. I won't feel like I'm the out of town guy by any means. I'll have lots of friends and family there too, but. We'll put on a good show. I think we'll sell a lot of tickets, and the atmosphere will be awesome if it's Kelowna versus Vernon. Go back to the hockey rivalry days. Yeah, that's what Raj and Alicia are trying to build. Main event's cool. It'll be my first main event, and it will be a title fight. Yeah. So how do you think, or how are you feeling about going for a title this time? Oh yeah, that's a nice looking belt. I want to add it to my collection for sure. It doesn't really, it doesn't change things for me. It's same opponent, whether there's a belt on the line or not. And obviously he's a tough dude if they want to bring him back out. And I don't actually
know his record or anything like that, but I know he put on a good fight. I remember even my dad mentioned his name after, because same weight class, we figured it could be another opponent. But no, it'll be fun, man. And get my hands on that belt will be awesome, and it'll be a war, I'm sure. I know he's a tough dude, so it'll be a good scrap, and I'm sure the fans will love it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have to let all your friends, family know that they should go and support you.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that Jesse's gonna have a huge crowd.
Oh
there
yeah,
too.
he'll have a massive one. That would make sense. The pop he got last time, I was kind of confused even, because I remember the pop he got, and I thought he was wearing like a PEI shirt or New Brunswick or somewhere out east. But yeah, no, that makes sense, and I'll have even more fans and friends and family there this time than I did last time for sure. So it'll be good. See who sells more tickets.
And I think it's gonna be on the bantamweight. Right?
Yeah, which is nice. Is like I said earlier, I'm definitely not a 145er, and I'm not a 125er, so I feel good. Gives me a little bit of time. I definitely want to try to put on a little bit more muscle before then, and I still feel like maybe I'm a little bit undersized for the division, but I never really feel a lack of power or strength there. I know I have the power to put away other bantamweights. I just want to put on a little bit of size before then, but yeah, it's good. I'm excited. It'll be a wicked fight, awesome card, and I'm excited to see what they do with the next one as well. I mean, like you said, OFC 1 was super well done, especially considering it was their inaugural show. So I'm excited to see what improvements they make to it. I don't really have anything like in mind that I'll see, but I'm sure they'll find them, and yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome. And last question, I would like to know, how would you describe yourself? Yeah, as a person, as a fighter, anything that comes to your mind. How is Curtis Anderson, if somebody asks? Yeah,
I don't know. I like to think I'm just like a pretty like relaxed, down to earth guy. I live and breathe the sport, so like I don't necessarily live the most exciting lifestyle sometimes, but I'm dedicated. I like to think I treat people nicely, and I go out of my way to help others and show respect to anyone who shows me respect, or vice versa. So, I don't know, down to earth, kind of just laid back guy. But when I get in the cage, it's kill or be killed. But other than that, I'm pretty laid back and relaxed.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for this awesome conversation.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
And we will be in touch with you to get things prepared for the OFC 2. This is just the beginning. It's just starting. And like I said, we are putting a lot of time and effort to build a much better show this time. Yeah. And people is very excited. And I feel like they are going to enjoy a lot this conversation that I have with you.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it myself. It was good learning a little bit more about you guys and how you got started as well, and appreciate you having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, brother.
Thank you.
Awesome.